Gotta love the last minute text message. Good morning, good morning, everybody. It's Michael Rutherford. I am in my office in San Diego, California, in Carlsbad. I'm joined by Vanessa Duplessis in the Pacific Northwest somewhere. Julie Spiegel in Las Vegas. Stacy Wasaki in Colorado, and just now Leonardo Silva in Hollywood, California. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Well, I know we've got everybody muted, so they can't even speak anyways. But we're super glad to have everybody on the line today. There's a lot of really exciting things happening in the Rippln world around the world. We're getting ready to go over 1.3 million people. If we didn't do so last night, I haven't looked this morning. But things have really been cooking. And as you've watched, every single few days or week, we light up new stuff in the Rippln back office. And I spent a little bit of time last night on the phone with Brian Underwood and really got a chance to see a sneak peek of the new player statistics tab that I'll talk about a little bit more today that you're going to freak out when you see it. I know a lot of us that are on this line have been, real anxious to be able to see really specific details of where they are in the Ripple, what they have to do to get paid in the Ripple, and how to progress through the game, how to sort of beat these levels. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you'll see here soon, sooner than later. In just a little while, we'll talk about that today. We're going to talk about the bigger picture of Rippln. What's Rippln to all of us? I mean, what's this whole blue ocean strategy about, and why is it working? I think proof is always in the pudding, and numbers always speak for themselves. I heard Brian Underwood say probably 5 years ago, documentation beats conversation any day of the week, and we've documented almost 1.3 million people in 3 months, which is unheard of in the world that we're running in. So we're going to hear from the 5 of us and sort of go around the horn and talk about the big picture of Rippln, what we're doing this for. I mean, why we believe so many people have not just walked and got into Rippln, but sprinted to Rippln and have jumped out of their cars to sort of jump into our boat. So good morning, everybody. Vanessa, I know you've had a chance to really have a lot of fun with us, traveling to Mexico City to one of the very first international events that we heard from last week you talk about. But from your vantage point, cover big picture for us. I know you've been around the world in Arkansas twice. Cover big picture for us on how big this thing really is to you, and sort of break it down from your perspective.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Michael. I am in a hotel room in Seattle, and the beauty of what we are doing with Rippln is that it can be done from anywhere in the world. As long as you have, a phone and a computer or internet connection, you can really be anywhere and build your Ripple. I have had the opportunity. I was in Dallas for our fabulous event there, and then last weekend, I can't believe it's only been a week. It feels like a lot longer that I was in Mexico City as we launched our first international event, and it was awesome. It was so cool, and it really expanded my horizons. I have a great team. We're growing a great Ripple. We're having a blast, and I would have to say the majority of my folks are in the United States. That's probably about 65% U.S., 35% around the world, and going down to Mexico really opened my eyes to the beauty and power of what we have going on and how many people around the world we can affect. I keep telling the story. Fabulous 16-year-old young lady that we met there. She picked up Brian and I at the airport with some of the other leaders, and she has 1,000 people in her Ripple right now. She's 16 years old, and her why is to help the economic situation that her family is in, as well as to pay for college. And she was so powerful and so confident in what she wanted to do and where she was going. There was no question that, is this going to work? Am I going to make it? She was going for it, and that is really what I felt down there in Mexico City. And as I travel around the world, I envision and imagine I'm going to see the same thing from a lot of different people, that this is going to be the breakthrough that they're going to work into their future. And for me, I'm in Seattle. My kids are downstairs at the swimming pool. I'm in the hotel room, like I said, doing my thing. And I'm really doing it for them, for my family, for our economic future. And everybody that I get to touch to help their economic future just jazzes me up. I am so over the moon about what we're doing here at Rippln. I sleep and I eat and I breathe and I drink the Ripple. I dream, seriously, I dream about the Ripple at night. I don't know, Michael, if you do or if anybody else here does, but I have little ripple bubbles in my mind.
My wife was at a garage a couple weekends ago. Hopefully you can see that.
It's a bouncy ball.
It's a Rippln orange bouncy ball. She bought 100 of them in like a box. I don't know. They were just sitting there, and she goes, I feel like they were put there for a reason. So I have Rippln orange and lime green. I wish I had the container. It's upstairs. Like 100 or 200 of these Rippln orange and lime green bouncy balls. And I think one serious question for people is, you know, it's not how long you've been in Rippln, but how long Rippln's been in you. Once you make that switch, so like if you cut someone open and rip them open, you know, these little orange and green bouncy balls would go pouring out of their body and bouncing all over their room. When someone makes that switch of when they're in Rippln versus Rippln gets inside of them, that's when you'll see people's ripples explode. That's when you'll see this go from something cool they want to do, some games they want to play, some products they want to get discounts on, or some money they want to make. It really becomes about something much larger. And you know, one of the people that I know that I learn from all the time, her and her partners, is Julie Spiegel, and she works with a couple Monicas. One particular one in Vegas that I've gotten a chance to know real well over the last few months, and you know, Galloway. I mean, they're all very philanthropic. I mean, every single day they're doing something for other people, and I know that's a big part of their interest in the Ripple. So big picture, talk about what you plan to do with Ripple and Julie, not only what you're doing now, but why you're so excited about it.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me to the Hangout this morning.
Glad you could get on.
Just before I ran out on my Saturday. But just to answer your question, many people don't know I run a burn foundation, and that's how I met Nino. He's been a phenomenal coach for me, not only with Rippln, but to just structure and organize a little bit thoughts better and within our foundation as well. So my purpose and my why with Rippln is to reach across the world globally and find other burn survivors, firefighters, support tech people, nurses, doctors in the burn community, and philanthropically benefit those burn survivors. I've added many to my team, and I'm excited about where we're going and what we can do on a global basis to serve other people. So I'm all about servitude.
I love it, and I know you guys worked, it was, I guess, a couple months ago now, where we did the Global Give Day, and that the Global Give 2.0 for your group is coming up just in a few weeks. And maybe talk just a little bit about what you see the Ripple doing. I got to tell you, we didn't record it, and I wish we would have. My wife was flipping channels yesterday when we were eating lunch, okay? And we're cartoon watchers. I don't know what else to tell you. We like cartoons. We like goofy
Michael, that doesn't surprise me.
So there was some goofy cartoon. I don't know what it was. It was on Nickelodeon, and it was like Pocahontas or something. And I don't know the main dude character in the show, Pocahontas or whatever, but they're standing on the bank of the water, and they start talking about the ripple effect. And there's all of a sudden they drop something in the water, and they show the ripple effect go in the water. And the old wiser man says to who I believe is Pocahontas, it could be a completely different character, I don't know what I was watching, but he says to this young girl, he says, you never, and they're going like this, you never know where your ripple will go. And he says, look, it just keeps on going. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Nickelodeon. They got it. They got the picture of, you know, the bigger picture on when you cast an invitation to someone about Rippln, you don't know where it's going to go. When you tell someone about a movie, I saw Steve Jobs' movie last night with Ashton Kutcher. You don't, when I tell you on the Hangout right now, there will be people that go watch it today because I'm going to tell you how much I liked it, that will go see that movie. You don't know where it turns up. So talk a little bit about what Global Give is what you expect to do with it in September with Nino and the group, and really conceptually what it is.
The first thing that I can tell you, what I really expect, is that we're increasing in size. I mean, that's amazing and exciting at the same time. Just the Global Give announcement, not only because our numbers have exponentially grown, but more and more people really are passionate about whether it's puppies, whales, abuse to women, whatever their purpose of their passion is about a cause, more and more people realize the benefit that they can incorporate, my favorite word, into their life about doing whatever their work is, growing their ripples, and reaching and stretching out to serve and help what they're passionate about. So everyone has, most everyone I should say, when I ask certain people, they're not quite sure what they're passionate about, but kids is a huge area for people when they're not sure. Kids issues. I know you had a great video about delivering food and groceries. I've seen other people's videos when we did our Global Give, and it's just awesome to see that ripple of giving grow with people that weren't consciously aware of wanting to help other people because they're so stuck in their regular press of business. I see the Global Give going outside of our community of Ripplers, just like ripples, and just like you said with the cartoon, you don't know where it's going to go. It'll be amazing to see how many lives we can touch, how many people we can benefit, how many the demographics of areas that need help and assistance. So that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one of the things that's really cool is that when somebody just gets started in Rippln, it's sort of their bubble. I mean, I'm a dorky white kid that grew up in Cincinnati, and I don't know anybody that doesn't look like me. Middle class, was in a fraternity, went to Ohio State. Every friend in my book looks just like me. I mean, until about a year ago, until Rippln started. And now most of the chats that I'm having, my brother, I was on the phone with my brother, and I had a Hangout on in the background. He's like, "What the heck is that?" And I go, "Oh, I'm on a Hangout with a bunch of Russians." And he goes, "Sounded like there was a fight going on at your house." And I said, "No, it's a pretty aggressive language." And he goes, "Well, who are they, and what are you talking to them about?" And I go, "Oh, they're all in Rippln. They got about 15,000 of them." He goes, "Are you kidding me?" I go, "Oh yeah, I'm getting ready to do another one with the Chinese group here in just a little while, and in a Taiwanese and Japanese group later today." So as you start growing a larger global ripple, and you don't need to go out and target people from Brazil, people from China, people from Russia, people from the Galapagos Islands. The power of Rippln is that it will happen. If it hasn't happened yet, just keep your head down and keep inviting people to the Ripple, because you never know who knows someone who is from Brazil and lives in Hollywood. Because I didn't know Leo Silva, I didn't know his brothers, I didn't know his dad, I didn't know his wife, I didn't know his friends, but yet all of them are in Rippln, and most of his team is outside the United States. They don't speak English, and they're excited about Rippln. They're excited to get their hands on Photogesaroo. They're excited about smartwatches. They're excited about, more importantly, seeing the value of their influence around the globe. So, Leo, good morning, brother. What's happening?
Bom dia, pessoal. É um prazer estar aqui nesse Hangout com vocês. E, é verdade. I gotta speak in English. I forgot about that. Yeah, so hey guys, it's a pleasure being here with you in this Hangout. And yeah, who would have thought that all my friends from Brazil, well, I know that my family and my wife, they would be supporting me on that. And of course, they love the technology and also the idea, the mission, the vision, And I think that for me, that's all about that. Yesterday, I was talking to one of the people in my Ripple. She said, I live in a place that, I don't know, 80% of my neighbors, 80% of the people that live where I live are not educated. So sometimes I feel like I don't belong to this place. And when I saw Rippln, I really found that could be my escape, my way out. And that's all about it. Rippln is about you being able to find your way out to whatever dream you have, to whatever it is that you want to do in life. And that's what I want to do. I haven't seen my mom in almost now 1 year, but I've been living here for almost 6 years. And I've seen her 5 times. I would say that like 3 months total, if you combine all the times that I saw her. So I'm not able to see her very often, to see her aging, to be learning more with my beautiful mom that I love so much. And Rippln is going to provide me with that freedom of time, of location. So I'm going to be able to be going to Brazil more often, to be bringing my mom here and to be enjoying life with them, and with my fellow Ripplers, of course.
Hey, you better not go to Sao Paulo without me, dude. I already told you that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
It
Don't worry.
really is fun when I think that the connectivity part of Rippln that brings so many people from around the world together at first it's how do you say, almost like it's not odd, but it is. Like when you start doing chats with people in other languages, you feel almost like you feel this big. Here we go. You feel this big, and then once you do it, you feel this big. You feel real small because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to communicate with these people. And then you realize this and this become your best friend. Those are the two main things. If you can give somebody a thumbs up, they know that's good. And if you can smile, we all smile and laugh the same way around the world. And that's almost like the cloth that weaves everybody together. So as your ripple starts expanding, and this whole blue ocean strategy that Brian Underwood cast to us 3 months ago of going out and changing the way people do business in the world, changing the way people share apps and games in the world, changing the way people consume products and services in the world, changing the way we connect and communicate in the world, and then more importantly, changing the way that the companies treat and view its members. It's no longer about sort of taking advantage of the members of a community. It's about collaborating with them and dancing with them. Rippln is built by us, the people on this panel. It's not about shareholders and equity holders in a company. It's about the real feet on the street members and the community members that are actually moving the needle, that are actually driving it, and taking a bow to them and saying, you know what, here's rewards for doing what you've been doing. And that's the first time in the world it's ever been done. That's the blue ocean strategy that is changing the scape of not just social networking, not just app sharing, not just product distribution, but really all of them together. And Leo, I appreciate you sharing. And a person that every day seems like she's on a hangout with somebody different from a different part of the world, whether it be Kika in Brazil or Sal Humauen in his group in the Philippines, or wherever else you are, is Stacy Wasaki. So Stacy, I know you built a big team. You got people all over the place. You do this besides being a mom of several kids that are finally back to school. You do this full time and do it around and you do it around the clock. So share with us what you're so excited about Rippln, and bigger picture what you see this being for you.
Well, first of all, I want to say I have people texting me from the group from this call and saying how this call has affected them just by us telling them what we want to do and what our goals are. And it's not focused on us, it's focused on others. And Sherry Miller has texted me several times and just been so excited about this call and saying, I'm crying right now because of what everybody is saying. And it's so true. What I love most about Rippln, I think, is that it's for anybody. You can be from any part of the world. You can be someone who is a parent or not. You can have money or not have money. You can have been in network marketing, for your whole life, or never looked at anything like this before. And you can be a player or a fan. It really encompasses every single person on this planet. And that, I think, is what excited me most, is that I could see someone in the neighborhood who has never wanted to do anything before and looked at this and go, you know what, this is so easy, I could do this. I share things anyway. I'm constantly sharing, like you said, Michael, good movies or products, or you'll see people share a Groupon on Facebook. I mean, people share. That is what we do, and that's what makes this so great too, is that it's everybody around the whole entire world that can do this. And I want to tell you that I do work at this a lot, because I know that this is my future. I have done things in the past, but this is so different than anything that I've ever been a part of, that I see this as changing so many lives. Right now, I'm really trying to focus on the players that I have on my team and saying, okay, now what's your next level? Where do you want to get to? What is this going to do for you? And trying to get them to focus on where they're going next And I think by doing that, that helps everybody out. So not saying that I'm not adding people to my first Ripple, because I am, but really focusing on to those people and helping them see what the vision is and where we're going. So
I'm with you. I think whether you realize it or not, it's a perfect segue into what I have down in my notes is the next thing to talk about is, hey, who all's sporting Rippln? Oh yeah, y'all didn't get the memo. I opened up my drawer and this is the shirt on the top. I'm like, boom. But what's been so fun, see that you kind of segued in or set up it perfect, is talking about advancing through the Rippln game and really drilling down with people to get clarity on what it is they have to do to win here. There's a scoreboard on a soccer game for a reason, and it's to keep score. It's to know what you have to do to win. And there's a reason there's points when you play Candy Crush or Angry Birds or Words with Friends or Draw Something or Song Pop or Fruit Ninja or Temple Run. Yeah, I play all those, especially the Tiger Woods game. That one's fun. Or Wipeout or Family Feud. Evidently, I'm a gamer because I like all those. But there's a reason there's a time clock. There's a reason there's scores. There's a reason that there's levels, because that works. It's called gamification. And one of the huge aspects of Rippln is the gamification part of it. And what you're going to see light up here soon, I'll just leave it at that, soon. I saw it yesterday for a while with Brian, and I was blown away. I've never seen anything that broke down your organization or your Ripple so clearly and concisely and created an exact expectation of what you have to do to progress through the Rippln game. First of all, step one, go from enroll as a fan. We talked about this on the Jonathan Budd and my webinar Wednesday night. Enroll as a fan instantly. As fast as you can enroll someone as a fan, they power up to becoming a player. Fred Barker enrolled a guy 2 days ago. He came in, became a player as soon as he joined. He became a fan. He logged into his Commerce tab, clicked the full green power up, boom, became a player, and enrolled his first 10 people. 2 of the 10 instantly became players. It wasn't like months later. All of us had to wait because we weren't ready for people to power up yet. But now that's gone. Bring someone as a fan, power them up instantly. Ask them. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday a picture of a stadium, and they had 2 circles and arrows, and one said spectator, one said player, and then it had a caption and said, "Who are you?" And she goes, "Great, power up. Do it with me. Let's go. Do you want this to cost you money, or do you want this to make you money?" No guarantees, by the way. And she says, "Great, either be a fan or a player. Let's go." There's not a lot of question and answering when it comes to why should I be a player. Do you want to use this as a revenue stream, or do you want to use this as a expense? And Fred got on with these guys, and instantly, that's monkey see, monkey do. Fred led him instantly into becoming a player. So this guy became a player instantly. So as he got on the phone with his first 5, 10 people that came in, 2 of them have already become players. This dude is already popping onto the first level. So level 1 player, level 2 player, level 3, level 4, level 5, and then all-star. And just like any game you've ever played in your life, what do you get when you beat levels? You start beating the game and winning. I'm a real simple person. That's how it works. So as you start seeing these player statistics, you'll be able to click your player tab or your play tab, which you can't do yet. You know what tab I'm talking about. The only one that's in there that doesn't say nothing except something's coming soon, that sucker. Well, something's coming. I seen it yesterday, and you're going to pee your pants when you see it. I think I can say that. So when you see it, what's going to end up happening is it's going to give you player statistics on everything. As you know, in order to climb through the ranks or the levels of the Ripple, as you beat those levels of the Rippln game, you're going to see more and more compensation open up for you. The different levels of your Ripple, the different depths of your Ripple from level 2 to level 3, 4, and 5 and All-Star have a few caveats with them or a few thresholds with them. As you know, we talked about this Wednesday evening on the webinar. If you don't have it, go watch the replay. But what it does is we talked about progressing through the game unlocks additional revenues on more people in your Ripple. It unlocks additional bonuses. It unlocks all kinds of stuff. So until now, you've not been able to see, 1, where you were, 2, how to get where you want to go, and 3, who's going to help you get where you're going? Or think about it the other way, who can you help get where they want to go? So Stacy's sister Dawn is in the Rippln, is rocking and rolling, adding people like crazy, powering people up, and growing a global Rippln. But if Stacy doesn't know where Dawn is, how does she know how to help Dawn get where she wants to go? So the play tab will be lighting up soon. Again, I'll leave it at that. And when it does, you're going to see for the first time everything you've ever wanted to see about your Rippln. You're going to see all the points that have been calculating. All the 13 points from all the pro players, they've already been calculating, but you'll be able to see them for the first time. You'll be able to see all the coaching offers that have been purchased. Once we go live with Guesaroo and the partnership with Case Monkey and the open authentication platform and the smartwatch, and you'll start seeing all those revenues popping through your Rippln. Where at? How much? What level are you, and how do you get to the next one? Everything's laid out to you. I was going to have Larry Lane on the Hangout with us this morning because we showed him yesterday too, and he's like, Michael, I've been doing this 15 years. I've never seen data that finite about my group in my life. And we're just getting started with that play tab. So there's a lot of neat stuff that you're going to see as people start powering up and the ripples really start expanding. So there's a lot of really neat stuff happening. If you've not seen the Steve Jobs movie, in other words, if you didn't see it last night on opening night, I went solo because there was only one seat left in the theater that I went to. And I was taking notes, like I was jotting down notes in my phone. These are all Steve Jobs notes from the movie. And I was blown away by what innovation really looks like. I was blown away by what it means to risk everything and go change the world. And I know that's what Rippln is doing, and I know that you guys know that as well. So maybe just as we wrap up, we're right at about 28 minutes, and I didn't want to take too long this morning, Vanessa. You know, one last, I would say, bit of advice from everybody. If you're watching the Hangout right now, knowing what I mean, every one of us said something different about what we love about Rippln, something a little bit different. But there's a theme about helping other people. So let's help everybody watching the webinar. Stacy will start on your end and we'll go the other way this time. One little nugget of advice of what to do and what not to do maybe, or whatever comes to mind that you think is important for people to know about Rippln as we go on this journey to build the biggest blue ocean strategy business model in the world. What's a pitfall you can help people avoid, or a tip or a trick to help them do?
I think the biggest thing that I've been doing that has really helped my team is I'm trying to do group chats. And so I've got, you know, Dawn's team that I have on a group chat, and I've got Sherry's team, and I have Donetta's team, and I have all these teams so that we're sharing information constantly. They know who I am. They know who, you know, and people keep adding people, which has been fantastic. So it's constant contact, constant information, just getting to build personal relationships, because honestly, they're not people who want the money side of this. They're not joining Rippln. I guess they are for all the possibilities, but what's going to keep them engaged is getting to know you and helping them. So that's really helped my team a lot, get to know everybody. I've friended everybody who is in my team so that I can constantly communicate with them. So I guess the biggest thing that I would say to you is make sure that you're not just focused on the people in your first Rippln, that you're adding people as contacts and talking to people in 2, 10, 17, whatever it is, and making those personal connections and relationships.
Stacy, you're spot on. One of the first, I know I have to make an announcement, Vanessa, I'm going to insert it here. If you're not booked and ready to dial and got a flight and a room for Dallas, or for Vegas, I keep calling it Dallas too, for Vegas, October 25th, 26th, 27th, the weekend before Halloween, you're crazy. I mean, you're just stone cold nuts. Everything Stacy just talked about, we spent half a day on in Dallas talking about how to use the Go Deep feature in the Rippln. That's what you paid for. That's part of what your fee went to, is to get visual of everybody in your Rippln, Ripple by Ripple by Ripple. And that piece alone, as long as you put 2 people in your Rippln, this thing will grow like crazy for you, and you'll have unlimited leads and fresh people if you go deep with them and you build a relationship with them. In Vegas, we'll talk about that until we're blue in the face. because that's one of the biggest drivers of somebody growing a large Ripple or a small one. So, Stacy, thanks a ton. Leo, how about you, man? What are you doing? What bit of advice do you got for us?
Well, first of all, I would say that it's good not only to talk to the people in a Ripple about Rippling. Talk to them about anything else. Talk to them about the soccer game that you went to, how many goals you scored. By the way, I scored 5 last game. Build that relationship, because many people, they're not going to become players just as now. They will not. And by you creating that relationship with them, later on, they're going to be able to pick up the phone to talk to you, and then now you can start sharing a little bit more about Rippling. A little bit more about the rewards, the products, the offers, the services, everything. And they're going to be open. And besides that, if you speak a different language and the majority of your team doesn't speak English, go ahead and do your own work, translate with your own words, and spread out throughout your entire Ripple. Because, don't wait for somebody else to do it. Just go ahead and do it, and you're going to be rewarded for that, for sure. I've been, and I know that everybody else would be. And share. Whatever it is that you translate, share with everybody else. Don't be that guy that, oh, I'm not going to help the others because I want to grow my own team. Well, your team is going to grow regardless. So just help the others to grow their own as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. There's a lot of power in relationships, and people are joining you anyways. They watched the video and they liked it, but they're going to join you. They may come in as a fan because they saw the video and liked it, but powering up will be based on the relationships that they have with people and how they feel. $95 is not a big decision for most people. As we get out around the world, it is. But if they feel good, if it feels like it's a right move, they're gonna move forward with it. And that's what's been so fun, is watching people really build those deep relationships, because whether Ripple was here or not, those relationships will go on forever. I can tell you that right now. So, Julie, how about you? What little tips or tricks do you got?
Well, like the Ripple logo has 3 little, I'm sort of like a cluster nugget. So I support definitely what Stacy said too. Digging deep and establishing relationships, what Leonardo's just echoing off of them. Establishing the relationships is so critical, not only just for Rippln, but for traveling. There's a gentleman traveling in our group and Nino's group that's making friends just from Ripples. I know he connected with some of your people, Michael. And I mean, that's so key, because people do want to connect globally wherever they are with other people. We're such a my other side nugget is that the camaraderie of everybody here and long-timers. Larry Lane is incredible. Stacy offers great input. I have a girl from Brazil that I've connected with, Leonardo. So my point to other people is to share and get to know other people as well, that oftentimes you get different input and different perspectives on Rippln and social life, etc., to connect. And lastly, on that cluster nugget, is incorporation. You get up every day, you brush your teeth, you go out, there's certain patterns that we all have. When you're sharing, what Stacy brought up before is so key. You're at the grocery store, you're chatting with the girl at the checker like you've done before, Michael. I was getting new tires on my car yesterday, talking to the guy that took care of me and the gentleman next to him in Spanish. I said, you've got to get on Rippln, and then you connect with your buddy over here. It's not work. That's the beauty of it. It's not work. We share it every day. We share Candy Crush. We share cool items like things that are coming down the pike with Rippln. It's simple and simple, fun, easy, and when it's not work, everybody enjoys it even more. And when they see the rewards that they get, not only financially, our global give, and just connecting with other people that might have a good recipe for something. It's human nature, and it's making the world a better place. And that's my 2 cents.
You're spot on, Julie. It really isn't work. If it feels like work, you're doing it wrong. I promise you, it should be a blast. If you get nervous when you talk to someone about Rippln out in the world, at the movies, at anywhere, like our building had a community party yesterday. I think I got 8 people on the Ripple yesterday. Everyone was interested. I'm talking to one person, And next thing you know, 5 more are standing behind us looking at the Ripple on the phone. And they're just freaking out. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. People are used to sharing stuff. I think you hit it right on the head. And where you learn all these things and keeping up to speed is all the things that Rippln does. Vanessa does is like the glue that holds all these hangouts and the calls and the states of play calls and things together. So kudos, Vanessa. I'm super happy that you do that and that you have that talent that lets you be organized. Speaking of which, we have a state of play call coming up this upcoming Tuesday night that everybody's got to be on. You'll get emailed and messaged about it. But make sure that you plug into everything that we do. The Vegas event at the end of October, the state of play call, there's a reason we do them. You know, and as I watched that Steve Jobs movie last night, you know, he was misunderstood for a long time. He even got kicked out of his own company because his own board didn't agree with what he was doing. And then the company went to the toilet, and then they clawed and begged him to come back. And then he changed the world like 5 times with the iPad, the iPod, the iPhone, and the whatever else. And it was amazing watching that movie because you really got to understand what true innovative leadership is about. So, Vanessa, close us out real quick. Give us some last-minute tips and nuggets that we haven't maybe mentioned so far based on what you've seen traveling the world with Rippln, and we'll call it good today.
All right, Michael. I took notes as we went along, and I agree completely with what everybody said, and I personally do each of those things within my Ripple. I'm going to take it one step deeper than all of that as well. And one of the things that one of my mentors told me a long time ago, and it's come back to fruition again and again, is work with the willing. You're going to bring people who you're going to want them to power up. You see the vision so big, and you're going to want them to come with you, and they're not going to be ready yet. And doesn't mean they won't be ready a month from now or 2 months from now or a year from now, but work with the willing who really see the vision, and don't worry about the others. Let them catch the vision in their own time. Some of us are earlier adopters than others, and don't feel bad about that. Don't feel like, oh my gosh, they're not letting me help them, or they're not letting me whatever. So I just want to put that out there. The other thing is identify your leaders within your group. If you have 3 people in your Ripple, or if you have 3,000 people in your Ripple, someone is going to step up and say, I want to run with you. I'm ready for this. I've caught the vision. How can I help? We are a team. We are a group. We all come together to help each other. So identify the leaders in your group and help them be better leaders. We're not born leaders. We become leaders. So those are some of the things that I'm doing within my group, is I'm empowering my leaders to take ownership of our Ripple and our group. And, along with identifying your leaders, as you're going to move through the levels that we talked about earlier, you are really going to have to set your focus on helping as many people as possible. And when for me, I've got a goal and I want to hit All-Star. That's my plan. Well, I can't hit All-Star until I help 5 other people hit level 5 in 5 of my teams. And that's comp reward stuff. We can look at that later. But the point is, I have to figure out who my minimum of 5 to 10 people are so we can go charge. So that's what I'm working on. That's a nugget that is a deeper nugget when you really start to understand the leveling up process. So work with the willing, identify your leaders, and then, put your own mask on, like I've said many times on Hangouts, and figure out how you help others, which will then in turn get you where you want to go with Rippln.
No, I love it. You said one of the things that's so powerful is when you see the player statistics light up, you'll know exactly who's the most likely person to not just help you get to All-Star, but who you have in your Ripple that's closest to getting the All-Star. Because if you're in the All-Star making business, which is what business we all should be in, almost like a factory, just churning out All-Stars, boom, 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 pumping them constantly. And you'll know exactly who is where. When you log on and see it, it pulls up. Here's where you are, and here's where your top 5 players are. And here's who's going to help those 5 players hit their next, step in the program. It's all laid out for you. So when you see that here in a few days, you're going to love it. I'm super happy that we could spend some time this morning. It's an incredible day outside in San Diego, sunny and 71. I love it here. And it's a perfect day to go out and build your ripples, communicate with people, keep it simple, don't treat it like a job, have a blast, and just grow like crazy. So Vanessa, Julie, Leo, Stacy, myself, have an awesome day. Thanks so much for being on. We will see you Tuesday night on the State of Play call. Peace.